we go. Waiting on
I'm
Dave.
good. Thank you.
Are you going to sit there and have that fucking bottle be crackling the whole time?
No,
Don't do that again.
I won't.
So unprofessional. What the fuck, man?
Welcome. It's Shit Talk Reviews, and this is how we're starting it today. So, I'm John, in the room with me.
Derek.
And
David.
Good to see you guys, as always.
Good to see you, John.
Actually, we've seen each other probably far too much, but that's par for the course around here. So, today is a very exciting day for us. I think it's safe to say we've all been anxiously awaiting this conversation, no?
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about Avenged Sevenfold.
As do I. I believe
Life,
David does as well. So
life is but a dream.
We're gonna get right into it. Today we are discussing the newest release from Avenged Sevenfold. Life is but a dream. This has been a highly anticipated album from them. Juggernaut's been around since '99. Put out all kinds of big records before.
Yeah.
You know, historically been an Avenged fan. You?
John, before we start, can I just read a small thing that I read that the bass player Johnny Christ had said about this album?
Sure. I didn't know you were able to read, but now that I know, it's great. Please bring it.
He said this album was made through personal life journeys of the band members, individually and together, over the last 5 years. He explained they have been pigeonholed by genres their entire career, and this album shows growth, tenacity, and willingness to put everything into one piece of art, and the band as a whole is very proud of this album. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I brought it up is because this is so different than something they put out, let's say, in '07 or whatever. It's just so different.
They're welcome to do what they want. They're artists. You know, you can go any direction that you want. That's not to say that you might alienate most of your fan base. You could.
You could.
You can also put yourself out there and get some ridicule.
Yeah, I mean, a 10 million albums sold, like he just said, if you're going to put something out like this, you're risking. If you're looking for something that they put out years ago and you're used to, you might lose fan base, right?
Well,
or lose listeners. You know,
it's interesting. In the past, I know that they've been accused of not sticking to being a metal band. You know, that they've deviated here and there. This is an album completely full of deviations from the norm.
I mean, like Metallica, they earned their right to maybe try something different.
As an artist, you change, you grow older, your outlook on things change. You know, why wouldn't you have the right to try new stuff? And these guys are certainly no exception.
Yes, agreed.
I don't even really know how to start this conversation.
I'll just say it. I believe that the band wrote the album of their lives. It's very rock opera-esque. They had an intent to blow the covers off being just a metal band, which is great. You are more than welcome to do that. I will say that Mr. Gates was incredible as a lead guitarist on the album, but what's missing on a rock opera is a lead singer that can actually execute a rock opera. There's no Jeff Tate here. There's no David Gilmour or Roger Waters.
Sure.
And I will say also that the songs are very different from each other, but I can hear the influences. Some of these songs, like Game Over, System of a Down, heard it. You know, just it was front and center for me.
Right off the bat. I mean, Serge Tarkian has entered the chat in the first 20 seconds of the song.
Absolutely. You know, Mattel was started off very close to what they were, but it went away quickly. And when he smelled the plastic daisies, it went off the deep end. The singing, and no offense, Mr. M. Shadows, it was not good. And it was painful to listen to. And I tested, too. I played this song for friends, and they all agreed that it's just not what a rock opera type album needs vocally. It doesn't hit the mark.
It was definitely, especially Mattel, it was all over the place.
It's a mess.
You got an organ going on here. You got soft lyrics going on. It was a lot of the album is really like that. But it's funny he just made that comment about what he said, because, and I wrote this down, this album, after I listened to it 3 times, I had a wow moment. I'm like, I get it. And I felt like I was falling in a hole, and on the way down to the bottom, I felt like I was going through phases of my life. I was seeing things as my life was passing in front of me, and I think that's kind of how this album was. I think these guys got in a room and they just felt
Dropped acid.
I think it's like Johnny said. I think they were going through aspects of their life, and that's exactly how they just went down.
And you listen to Nobody. It's Muse. The problem is with that, no Matt Bellamy,
Right.
who is incredibly talented as a singer and a composer. That felt like a Muse song to me, except it's not as good as Muse.
The intro to that song, it's incredible.
Well,
The song G, it almost had a little Liquid Tension to it in the beginning. That was something from the 70s, like psychedelic all over.
G is the 8th track on the record.
Yes.
I believe that when they were writing this album, they were listening to Frank Zappa. They were listening to Queen. I hear a lot of different stuff in there.
Yes.
And G is, as to my ears, a blatant ripoff of Frank Zappa's Zombie Wolf.
It's psychedelic. Is it not?
It's almost
psychedelic.
It's like almost identical to that song, which would be cool if it was titled G parentheses We Love Frank Zappa. It is Zombie Wolf all day long.
Yeah.
Ordinary is Daft Punk meets Jamiroquai.
Well, that was just a pop song. It was just like a pop song you'd hear on top 50 radio. It sounded like just a pop song.
Well, the use of a vocoder on Matt Shadow's voice is incessant through this record. And I'm not personally a fan of the vocoder. To me, it's a crutch when you can't sing on pitch. And Shadows can sing.
Even Death started out like I simply wrote this down. To me, it sounded like a gala. I could picture couples ballroom dancing, and then at the 209 mark, it sounded like a soundtrack to Titanic.
It's so funny you say that.
The Love Boat is what I wrote down.
Yes, there you go.
What was it? What did you say?
The Love Boat.
The Love Boat.
So we're all on the same page.
You know what I wrote for that track? That I got transported back to a smoky casino lounge in 1969 Vegas. Then the acid sets in, and it just gets all orchestrally weird.
So again, it's all over the place.
This record, to me, I don't know if you guys have seen, and if you haven't seen it, you absolutely should. It's one of my favorite movies. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I gotta watch it.
John C. Reilly is in it. It is funny as hell.
You've mentioned that before.
The music in it is incredible, but there is a song. This record is Black Sheep to me. It is all over the place. And
and it ends in an instrumental.
Right.
Right?
You know, in a very soft, you know, is it nice piano? Absolutely. Does it work with the album? I suppose it does, given how all over the place is. Do I dig it? You know, You in the Black?
The question, if Freddie Mercury was the singing on this album, how would you feel
That's
about
a great question.
It's 50 minutes or 60 minutes, however long the album is, of Bohemian Rhapsody. It's all over the place. And I love progressive music. This is just all tangents. It doesn't seem cohesive to me.
It's like I said, if you're expecting Avenged Sevenfold album from 15 years ago, this is the wrong turn. You made a wrong turn.
Right. This is not City of Evil. This is not Nightmare. This is a departure, which they're welcome to do. Yeah.
Derek brings up a good point. You put Mercury on this, does it sound better? Maybe. There's some parts of this I did like.
For me, the biggest, and I put a note on here, the bottom line is, it's fine to do an album like this. You better have a singer that can knock it out of the park. And Shadows is not it. He is not it. He wasn't a great singer before. He is not great for this type of music. He was way out of... I was cringing
for this type of music. Yes, I agree.
There were times when I was driving back and forth. I have the hour trip down and back 3 times a week, and I listened to this all week. And I had times where I physically was clenching my fist at how bad he sounded, and I feel terrible saying that, but it was not good, and it was painful. I asked my wife, and she's like, "Turn it off. I can't listen to it." One of my best friends growing up lives 11 houses away. We went out last night. He listened. He goes, "Does he realize that he can't sing this?" And
it's harsh.
And it is harsh. But and I've said this before. Sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, I don't know that I agree that he's not a good singer. I think his style and his voice is very appropriate for a lot of the stuff they've done.
I agree.
Yes.
I think that on this record, the vocals on this record are super upfront. It's like he's standing right in front of you, singing right into your face.
I will say, "Beautiful Morning," the chorus, "You walk on water, but the water swallows you, and you're like no other. You're the other one in view. Don't let it be. Don't let it be. I thought the chorus on that song
The
and
lyrics,
the
you
lyrics
mean?
were awesome on that song.
I hated Beautiful Morning. It's blatant Alice in Chains ripoff. Weird, odd timing patterns, and frankly, I would have rather heard Lane Staley sing it.
Well, I'd rather hear Lane Staley sing anything. Yeah.
Right.
The Beautiful Morning, that one kind of spoke to me. It was reminiscent of older Avenged.
I like that song for sure.
But then, of course, it totally changed up and turns into like Avenged Sevenfold's version of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It seemed weird to me.
Even Cosmic, it starts off slow. I thought the Cosmic summed up the album because it had everything. It started off slow, a little depressing at the 2:10 mark. The guitar instrumental at that song, awesome. And then it took a soft turn, and then it's like it became this grand theatrical song towards the end. I couldn't. I liked pieces of it, but couldn't put it together, man.
Yeah, Cosmic for me, it was the softer side of Avenged for a second anyway. And then the vocoder comes back in on the vocals, and I just went, oh my God, I just can't do this.
Right.
Cosmic for me was Pink Floyd meets Chicago.
That's actually not a bad analogy.
I don't know.
And what songs did you like?
We go through the same process every week with these. I do anyway, and I'm sure you guys have your process for, when you're taking notes and doing the review. And as I listened through the album, and I must have listened to this thing 20 times over the course of the week, I, wait for that one that, ooh, that one snaps right off the bat. And, what is it I like about that? And it stands out either because it's really a great song or really something that I don't like. I don't have any standouts on this because it is so fucking all over the place.
For me, it was, Nobody to me was good. I thought the beginning of that song was great. It took a little dive, but Nobody, G was a little all over the place, but like you, John, it's hard to just pin one song that I really liked because they're also all over the place.
As a prog fan, I felt like I'm almost guilty. Like I should like this because it goes in so many different directions. Yeah. But it's the lack of cohesiveness from front to back. It killed it for me.
Mad respect for these guys, though. I give them credit.
Yeah,
because everybody would stay in their lane and do what everybody else wants. They went outside their lane. They put this out. I got respect for that, but it didn't land for me. Man. Yeah, I'm with you.
And individually, these guys are all super, super talented players.
Yeah.
We've got Matt Shadows on vocals, Sinister Gates, lead guitar, Zachy Vengeance, rhythm guitar, Johnny Christ on bass, Brooks Wackerman on drums, who is a phenomenal drummer. He was a great replacement for Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, who passed away in 2009. There was, they had another drummer for, I think, one record, Aaron Illijay, I believe his name was. Mike Portnoy played drums on Nightmare after the Rev died. So they've had phenomenal drummers throughout their existence. And Brooks he's a killer. He's a great drummer. So individually, I love all of them. And they're all monster players. But this album, and again, I feel a little guilty saying it, but I'd be lying to myself if I said I really like this album, because I don't.
It's a tremendous risk when a band does this.
Yeah,
like
it's a step
said
out
before, because you're gonna lose people. Your true fans will stay and they'll go through you thick and thin. Some people are gonna be like, I'm done.
Well, if you look at, and I'm looking at Apple Music, the stars, of what people like.
The ratings.
Game Over, Mattel, and Nobody at the beginning, which is, as those three songs are as close to the older material as it gets. From We Love You on, it's Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, you're down a rabbit hole and you don't know what you're going to get. And frankly, it's a mess. They're a mess. And I think Mattel is probably, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say it's my favorite one. When he's smelling plastic daisies, it hurts to listen to him. Yeah. And
it's different.
It really is. It's a tough record, especially coming from where they came from. I probably, after we do this review, I will delete it from my phone and I will listen to Almost Easy and go back and listen to the old stuff. I don't want to ever listen to this again.
Well,
City of Evil and The Avenged Sevenfold, those two albums, those are my favorite, but man, it is nothing like this. They really went off the track here.
Well, they did. City of Evil is one of my favorite Avenged records. I like Nightmare quite a bit. And this one, so you're going to listen to this afterwards? I don't know if I'm gonna. Maybe I just need a break. Maybe I oversaturated myself, over the course of the week with it. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what makes a record land or not land with the listener? But man, right from the very beginning, You know, the intro there of Game Over, I don't mind the intro, you know, it's a nice, and I thought, okay, cool. But it moves in so many different directions, and it didn't seem to have a center for me.
It set the pace for the album because most of the songs were like that.
Yeah.
It really was.
For me, we're 0 for 8. So I asked 5 other people.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of us and then 5 other people, and all of them didn't just not like it; they detested it.
Yeah.
And
Well, did you ask people who were fans of the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's key.
Yeah.
Because if you ask just somebody that doesn't really know
they
the
liked
band,
they liked their old stuff, and it was like, this isn't even within the realm of reason. And I've said this before. I think I said it on the podcast for Periphery. In the end of the day, consistency matters, and Slayer was consistently who they were all the way through. Judas Priest has been consistently who they are. I mean, there are bands out there that don't go too far off the reservation. They can have a big box. They can have a 40-acre, reservation to play in, but they don't step over a line. This to me is stepping over the line. Again, jazz hands, on a prog metal band, not so much. That's going off the reservation. This thing, again, it's a rabbit hole through Alice in Wonderland and into the Wizard of Oz, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm curious to see what kind of feedback we get from this podcast, what kind of pushback we'll get, because as we've said, I'm sure there's fans out there who are going to say it's the most, brilliant Avenged Sevenfold release ever. And I understand why somebody might feel that way. And again, more power to you. If you like it, great. And I'm glad, you can crank it on repeat at full blast. But man, it's just, I wanted to love it. I want to love it because I love the band.
Is this Metallica's Saint Anger album?
Kind of, yeah.
It's really what I got out of it.
Yeah.
It felt to me that way.
But I'll tell you that talent-wise, there is talent here.
A ton of it.
But the tying force would have been a legendary singer. I'm telling you, I think the band, they crafted one of the greatest albums of their lifetime, but it falls flat. It's a wet blanket to me because of Shadows. He just doesn't have the it factor, the Dios, the Halfords. Even Surge would have been great on this. Jeff Tate would have been great on this. The Pink Floyd guys, I mentioned them earlier, Gilmour and Waters. Yeah. The list goes on and on. Even Phil Anselmo from Pantera probably could have.
How about Dickinson from Maiden?
Dickinson, I mean,
would be great
the list goes on and on.
Right?
But this is to me, the vocals are the tying force that could have pulled this all together, and it didn't work. That's
I agree with Derek, because there's some times where you hear it, you're like, ooh, wow.
I won't beat up as much on Shadows for his vocal performance, at least not to the degree, that you did, Derek. I think that some of that may be due to how the vocals were mixed overall, because like I said, they are super upfront. They're super raw, with the exception of the vocoder,
right?
Which, we got T-Pain singing for fucking Avenged Sevenfold now.
Go back and listen to it.
Go to Ordinary.
I've smelled Plastic Daisies, and turn it up loud in your car. Oh, it just hurt. And I feel terrible saying that because I can't sing.
Yeah.
So who the fuck am I?
Well, and that's another thing, too. We're sitting here and we're just taking this album apart, and my response, we jokingly, a friend of mine and I used to, when somebody would shit talk something that we wrote musically, our response was, great, where's your album?
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear your release.
I just think for Shadows, for what they put together here, it just wasn't suitable. Just wasn't. It has nothing to do with he's put out before, what they've done before.
When we pulled this together, Shit Talk Reviews was not shit talking the music, it's shit talking each other. And we're
right.
and frankly, we usually whip Dave, and Shadows is taking the beating on this.
Yeah.
And I feel terrible about that, but I really, I'm not going to lie to you, it was one of the most disappointing albums that I've ever reviewed.
Well, I'm glad that you bring that up, that the goal here has never been to shit talk the music.
Yeah.
We're music fans. If anything, I would rather spend my time trying to boost up a musician, who may not have confidence or whatever, because as a player myself, like, it feels great when you feel like you nailed it. And my guess is that these guys, I mean, obviously, how long did they work on this record?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
they weren't going to work 5 years on a record and put it out without feeling like, man, we killed it on this.
Yeah.
And then here, us three assholes are sitting here just ripping it to shreds.
But you know what? That's our expectations from a band who's been around since 1999 and sold 10 million records.
Well, what's interesting,
that's going to happen.
Agreed. But a lot of our complaints about this are because not that the performances are bad, but because the songs and the compositions are so different from what they've given us in the past. So credit to their ability as players. The production level is great. The performances are great. It's just the compositions. And now, with the exception, I know, Derek, you're not wild about, Shadow's vocals on this, and that is what it is.
It feels like to me, if you want to go down this road, make it a side project. Honestly, if I was a massive fan of Avenged Sevenfold and I put this in, it takes me back to the days of getting CDs in the mail. Record labels used to send me CDs. I'd put them in the car CD player, pull them out, fire them.
Out the window.
I littered. Yeah, I littered. I was a bad person, but I would fire them. I'd be like so mad when a band that I knew and I liked just went off the freaking deep end.
Yeah.
And this to me is like, this is off the reservation. It is, hey fans, thanks for the memories. We don't really care what you're looking for. We're going to do what we want.
Yeah, but you know what? They earn that right.
They do. But at the same time, there is pressure to be what you need to be for your fans. I mean, it's the same thing. Like when you watch TV shows and TV shows jump the shark and they do this really outlandish thing, people get pissed.
Yeah.
And you owe it to the fans to try to stay. Again, there's a reservation. If it feels like you're jumping off the reservation and your fan base is going to go, probably shouldn't do that, then you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
It is a tough call.
It's a tough call because, again, people change, they grow, their tastes change. We've talked about it before. I don't know. That's maybe why I feel a little bit guilty about, going down this road.
Yeah, you don't want to rip the band,
Yeah, it's just this. I'll say it again. The performances are great. They're super solid. They're all great musicians. And Shadows, I like the work he's done in the past as a singer. The production quality is super solid on it. The only thing I don't like from a production standpoint is Shadow's vocals they're way too upfront and in your face for me. I would have liked them pushed back a little bit, softened up. But
did you get a takeaway, at least from each song, something you enjoyed? At least I did.
Look, from a technical aspect, absolutely. There's stuff that I liked about it. I like that, like I said, the tones are great. You can tell the experimenting that Gates did when he was writing this stuff. Using some different instruments, sounded to my ear like there may have been some brass, some horns in there. So there are cool aspects to the record, but the record as a whole did not land for me.
And I'm looking at some notes here, like Easier. I heard Daft Punk. I heard Foo Fighters in there. I heard Stone Temple Pilots from the Core era, and I heard Faith No More.
That's funny. I have Faith No More. Said that before.
That many bands' influences in a song of a band that never sounded like any of those bands, it's a problem. It's a composition problem. And again, be ambitious, be artists. I don't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. But I am going to be honest about my interpretation of what I heard. I didn't enjoy it, and I will get rid of it from my phone.
Even the song We Love You, if you really listen to that song, it kind of was weird. It almost had a country. They almost went country in that song if you listen to it again. A vibe to it. So that was even really
and then there's falsetto in there, which again, that wasn't working for
We
me
Love
either.
You. It starts out banging, it slips away, and then zaps back to, old school Avenged Sevenfold. When it kicks hard. We were talking about Easier, and again with the vocoder. I feel like Derek beating up on Periphery here, but this one it did not fit for me. And the thing that really killed me about that song, the random pew, 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 pew lasers.
Yeah.
Right.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
At least give them to me in time.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
At 5 o'clock this morning, I was listening to the pew, pew, pews, and I forgot to put that in the notes. But I'm like, I was literally driving down the road. I'm the only person on the road, and I hear pew, pew, pew. I'm like, where's fucking Darth Vader, stormtroopers? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's all over no
just
doubt.
like stormtroopers firing the phaser guns.
And missing.
None of these landed either.
I will say Derek hit the nail on the head, though, because it would be interesting if you got another singer to do this, how it would maybe changed my
They're
perspective.
the glue. Singers are glue.
Yeah.
And when you take, and again, the band probably feels like they wrote the album of their lives, and they did. They're all over the place, and they're executing it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it's all over the place, but the glue that's missing is a powerful singer that can actually handle the material.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that too, because I think that right there, that statement shows how different people listen to music differently. There are lyrical music listeners who the first thing they listen to is what the singer is singing, the lyrics. There's somebody like me. I am not a lyrical music listener. I really, more often than not, could care less what they're singing about. It's how they sing and how they use their voice as an instrument, layered in with the other instruments. I don't know where I'm going with that. Just that it's a.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
Well, you're saying that this album is missing the glue, the singer, that brings it all together.
Yeah.
For me, there was just too much. There was too much different, and there wasn't anything cohesive that kept the album together.
Well said, John. I agree with you 100%.
Like if they'd released this album as a series of singles, maybe I would feel differently about it. And like you said, under
that's
a
what he
side
said.
project
Do a side
name.
project. Yeah, right.
But
You know what
I don't
I
know.
miss? I miss shitting on each other.
I know.
We shit on
but
the
we're
album,
all on the same
and we,
page. Well,
usually,
Yeah.
you know that something's wrong if Dave hasn't told me I'm fat and ugly
Right.
in some capacity. But I think that we've beaten a dead horse.
And you know what
we
I
don't,
think,
we don't
guys?
love the album.
We don't
I
love
know
the
what it
record.
is. I think we're all just disappointed in this. I am. Based on their past, I did not see this coming.
Me
I'll be
neither.
honest
Not in
with
a
you.
million years.
Yeah.
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
And I feel, like I said, I feel guilty about that because I've always liked this band, but this album just didn't
Yeah.
hit.
Yep. All right.
So to that end, do we talk?
We
So
gotta-
let's
gotta
talk
score it.
scores. Dave, where does it come in for you?
Oh boy. I mean, production quality, loved it. Lyrical content, no. I mean, the theme changed, like Derek said. Put another guy behind the mic with the theme and everything, maybe sound better.
As a side project.
As a side project.
It's not Avenged Sevenfold.
I'll be honest with you guys. I hate this.
I
Is
know.
unbelievable.
It's
For me, it's a 5.5, 6, and I'm not going further than a 6, and
Yeah.
that's generous.
yeah.
But I would stick to a 5.5.
Derek?
5. I'll never
Yeah.
listen to it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it in at a 6, and that, what kept it up, that kept that number high was, the production quality that was recorded really well. Obviously, the performance was great. The performances of the individual instruments was great.
What I had to do, John, is go back and just pick what I liked. I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have wrote it all off.
Yeah.
I had to go back and be like, all right, some things I gotta like here, and I did.
Yeah.
After listening to it 7 or 8 times,
Well,
I
again,
found it.
for me, it was elements of each song, little elements, but it wasn't the things as a whole. And what brought it down for me was the "Will I Listen Again" score, and that's what submarined it. So I'm at a soft 6.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you that I'm very angry with you for choosing this record? My entire week, all of my commuting, my free time was spent listening to something I hate.
Well-
So I want to thank you for ruining my week.
Well, you're
John.
welcome. You're
Well,
welcome.
listen, we had to give it a shot, right?
Yeah,
we got to listen to it.
it's Avenged Sevenfold.
It's Avenged Sevenfold.
We hadn't had a
exactly.
record in 5
Yeah.
years, man. The
Yeah.
people are, I would assume people were excited to hear this. I was excited to hear it.
Yeah,
And I was then disappointed when I heard it.
yeah. I think
And
we're all
again,
on the same page.
sorry, guys in the band, love you, but this one just didn't land for me.
Yeah.
Didn't land for any of us.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
our tastes we're not that far apart from one another, but so yeah, a real bummer about that.
Well, next
So-
week,
Yes, what do we have next week?
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, he's pumped.
Can you, without looking it up, can you tell us what the name of the album is?
No, it's a long one, and it's ridiculous.
Well, I'm pulling it up now, and I have to read it because there's no way I would remember it either. Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, an annihilation of planet Earth and the beginning of merciless damnation.
Sounds metal.
Not very metal. Think more Motorhead.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah,
So
right,
that's it.
We'll tee that one up.
You know, on a
Going.
completely unrelated note, I read this just earlier this morning that, and this may mean nothing to either of you guys, Blackie Onassis, the drummer for Urge Overkill, huge band in the 90s, passed away recently. And just had to throw out, a tip of the hat to those guys. They were one of my favorite bands back in the day, and it was a bit of a heartbreaker to see that he died this morning.
How old, John?
57, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
They haven't released the cause, so who knows what happened, but I was sad to hear it.
I have a quick shout out. Him.
Yes.
You want to
Yeah.
tell the story? You tell the story. He's your guy.
Him, Sermon. So we did the review. We reached out. We sent him our podcast. He loved it. And he reached back out to us.
Well, to say he loved it, that might, we don't want to put words in.
He gave us a
He
nice
loved
compliment.
what you two said. He didn't love what I had to say.
Yeah, long story short, he reached out. It was great. He wants to set up an interview with us when he gets back. He's currently traveling, and he said in July when he gets back, he definitely wants to put something together and sit with us. I'm pumped. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited to hear it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you very
And thanks
much
for looking
to him.
past my horrible words about you.
Yes, and God knows they are horrible. Man, this, we have tried to keep these podcasts a little tighter on, we don't have people having to sit and listen to 3 hours of us yammering on. And we have definitely blown that rule today with our distaste
Today was
for
the
this
exception because I think there's a lot of we were disappointed. I think we're all disappointed here.
Yeah, it just wasn't what I was hoping to hear.
I will say this, music is something that fills my cup. It fills our cup. That's why we do this. And when you're looking forward to a record and it doesn't meet your needs, and frankly, it's completely different than what you're expecting, and then you give it a fair shot, even though it's completely different, and it still doesn't fill your cup at all,
yeah,
it is a disappointment.
It's a bummer.
It's a bummer.
The reason I read that quick thing during the beginning from Johnny is because I knew I had a feeling that was the direction we were going in. So I just in their, in their defense, I wanted to share at least what they were feeling and what they were, because I knew the three of us were going to be a little hard.
Yeah, and we do not talk about these records.
Yeah.
Before we sit down in the room and record these podcasts. We don't, because we want it to be a real-time thing where it unfolds for our listener. Talking to you, Mom. You're the only one listening. So Avenged Sevenfold, I still love you. I just don't love this particular record. All right, well, as always, thanks for sticking around with us, and please send the hate mail to Dave's home address. We'll post that on our Instagram.
John, anything on Country Lemonade?
No, still nothing from Country Time.
Okay.
Good looking out. Good looking out.
In time.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not just the favorite drink of the summertime. It's good all year round.
There you go. True that.
Pink, yellow, whatever your flavor. So you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and can't wait to shit talk each other, hopefully a little bit more next week.
See ya.
See ya.